He's
Look at that.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, we met
loving.
them at your anniversary here. I took some pictures.
Look at her. She's positively glowing. I love it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. It is a special pleasure to welcome you all here today. And those of you who can't hear me, if you could move closer. Over the years, I've done a number of weddings, but this one, as is obvious, is amazingly special. Whenever I officiate a wedding, I ask the bride and groom to design the ceremony so that it fits their vision of this time of joining, supported by their entire community. Marie and Jimmy requested that this event be thoughtful and fun. A wedding's a happy time, but more than that, it's a time when the bride and the groom make a public declaration of their intention to care, love, and support one another in every way possible. It's your being here that makes the day special for them. And of course, their being here makes it special for you. A friend of mine was recently asked to officiate at his son's wedding. Surprised and pleased, but without any experience, he asked married couples, what in the long run made it work? He found the most important thing was forgiveness. Forgiving each other for being human. When, at times when being superhuman would have been so much easier. And forgiving themselves for doing the best they can and sometimes still failing. Somebody wise said, we all fall. It's how we get up that matters. In marriage, as most of you know, we fall often. But the marriages that last, the marriages that become stronger over decades, are ones when one partner falls, it's the other who extends a hand to help them up. Let's now just take a few moments to come into a state of gratitude. Each one of us has so much to be grateful for. We're grateful that we're alive and able to be here. We're grateful that we're able to love one another. Grateful that this couple, each one powerful and used to being independent, are joining not only their energies, but their lives. Let's take a moment of gratitude now, each in their own way. I got to tell you, since this is the world that we live in, that Jimmy has been in fire rescue for the past 13 years and has recently stopped. And as that went by, he said very quietly to Maria, "Not my problem." So, as I said, we all take gratitude in our own way. There's a poem that Maria and Jimmy wanted to share with you, and it's about them. But then again, it's probably about you. I'll say it twice. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. Which brings me to a story that they wanted me to tell you. And it's about how they did get together. They met in South Florida on the beach. Maria used to run on a particular beach. Jimmy, on days when he wasn't working 24-hour shifts as a fireman paramedic, was lifeguarding. Needless to say, he noticed her. One day, when she stopped to talk with another lifeguard she knew, he introduced her to Jimmy. She definitely noticed him. As he spoke, she saw that he was kind and funny and smart. Then she really noticed him. They talked a few times at the beach. She waited for him to ask her out. He talked with her, meaning to ask her out, but not doing it. Then he quit working at the beach. Uh-oh. Maria couldn't find him anymore. He tried to figure out how to casually show up to talk with her, but how could showing up at the beach where and when she always ran be casual? So that was that. Opportunity missed. Both of them too cool at the onset to let the other know that they'd already progressed beyond noticing. Some of us believe there are spirit guides who help us. Some believe there are guardian angels who gently push us in the right direction. Some believe in synchronicity, that things come together that should. And some believe in coincidence. Reality, thank goodness, keeps on rumbling along, whatever you believe. She waited the appropriate 3 days. Now, I don't know who taught her about 3 days. It was not me. She called back. In the several years they spent in the long, endlessly intricate dance of relationship, intimacy, courtship, and decision, each one grew not only more loving and more caring, but more and more sure that this decision was the right one. Incurably romantic, Jimmy proposed on the beach, where they had first met. And as we say in my family, fast forward to now. Jimmy and Maria, you're here today because you've made a commitment to each other and to the process of your own growing, side by side, like two well-watered and well-nourished trees. That metaphor, their own, is also part of their story. A large part of Maria's career has been about trees. from her master's degree thesis looking at palm trees in Mexico and how the fronds were woven into hats, then called Panama hats for other reasons, to some of her current work looking at sacred trees worldwide. When Jimmy first came to California, now while your journeys were solitary in many respects before, you now are yourselves in conjunction with another, brought you together. And that will keep it whole. Kindness, compassion, respect, listening, and an understanding that this is the great adventure of your lifetime will keep it growing and glowing. Now, Jimmy and Maria, are you prepared at this moment to say out loud and express your pledges to one another? Maria? Repeat after me. Jimmy, my intention is to always appreciate you.
Jimmy, my intention is to always appreciate you.
And to never take you for granted.
To never take you for granted.
And to remember how I feel at this moment.
To remember how I feel at this moment.
About you and about us.
About you and about us.
Jimmy, please repeat after me. Maria, my intention is to always appreciate you.
Maria, my intention is always to appreciate you
And never take you for granted.
and never take you for granted,
And to remember how I feel in this moment.
and remember how I feel in this moment
About you and about us.
about you and about us.
Zale, if you will please come forward with rings. Thank you. Rings are a symbol of eternity, of union, of the earth. They're exchanged when two people marry to further seal their compact. Each wears their ring as a symbol of their unity with the other, a constant, comforting reminder of their love and wholeness together. Please repeat after me. Maria,
Maria,
I place this ring on your hand
I place this ring on your hand
as a lasting symbol of my commitment to you
as a lasting symbol of my commitment to you
and my respect for our relationship.
and my respect for our relationship.
It is an ongoing expression
It is an ongoing expression
of what we are and what we will be.
of what we are and what we will be.
Every time you look at it,
Every time you look at it,
it is a reminder of how in love with you I am,
it is a reminder of how in love with you I am
and how much I continue to love you
and how much I continue to love you
every day.
every day.
It is a sign that I choose you to share my life.
It is a sign that I choose you to share in my life.
Jimmy,
Jimmy,
I place this ring on your hand
place this ring on your hand
as a lasting symbol of my commitment to you
as a lasting symbol of my commitment to you
and my respect for our relationship.
and my respect for our relationship.
It is an ongoing expression
It is an ongoing expression
of what we are and what we will be.
of what we are and what we will be.
Every time you look at it,
Every time you look at
it is a reminder of how in love with you I am
it's a reminder of how in love with you I am
and how much I continue to love you every day.
and how much I continue to love you every day.
It is a sign that I choose you to share my life.
It is a sign that I choose you to share my life.
We have witnessed the exchange of rings. We have heard Jimmy and Maria speak their vows to one another and to seal those vows with these rings. We are here all assembled to add the collective goodwill of this community to this joining, to this making two into one. Jimmy, do you take this woman, Maria, to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, to partner and to cherish, to support and to celebrate, to love and to honor, in times of ease and moments of meltdown, in sickness and in health, as long as you both shall love?
I do.
Maria, do you take this man, Jimmy, to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, to partner and to cherish, to support and to celebrate, to love and to honor, in times of ease and in moments of meltdown, in sickness and in health, as long as you both shall love? Much to the surprise of some of you, by the power invested in me by the state of California, and by the energy of the power of love that flows through all living things, I pronounce you man and wife. Jimmy?
Yes.
As this is a California wedding, if you choose to, and Maria, if you agree, you may kiss your bride. We have come together to celebrate one man and one woman joining together in marriage. When we do this, we also recognize the love we bear each other and the love we have for ourselves. As they are joined, we appreciate all those we love in our own lives, our partners, our families, and our friends. There's a special power that is given to a newly married couple. To wish them congratulations on the day of their marriage not only pours love into them, but also allows them to pour love into you. Be sure you get your dose of their love luck today. Please rise. As we send them all our blessings, let that feeling radiate out, blessing yourself, those beside you, those around us, blessing those who are unable to be here, blessing those who have loved us and passed on, blessing everyone in your lives, blessing all those you do not know, and blessing the natural world that is helping and healing us all. Not only are Jimmy and Maria husband and wife, but they have insisted that this be the start of a celebration. They made it clear in their instructions that I am to give a final instruction to you. It's time to have fun. We only need one Lexus who's
All right.
Saves lives and you can cut cake.
Three of the judges gave you a 9.4. Okay, let's go right into toasts. Okay.
Maria?
No, we have some. Do you have an order?
I just want to thank our musicians. And one of the things that happens at weddings is various people get to say something about whatever it is they choose to say. And it's called a toast, which has nothing to do with dried bread. Maybe. And we have with us some people who we particularly asked to say something to further deepen this event and this marriage. And Elizabeth?
I have known this absolutely beautiful bride since she was a little girl in my first grade classroom with a lot of you who have shared that classroom with her. She came with this beautiful smile, quiet energy that was so special. And one of the things that's interesting, it was early in my teaching years, one of the things that's interesting is observe styles of learning. And there's kind of two distinct ways. Some children leap into the middle of things and have all the learning that comes from making mistakes and enthusiastic feedback of the environment. That's one style. Maria's style was the other one, which is to sort of the Zen of childhood learning, where you carefully observe what's going on and make considered judgments about how you're going to enter the fray. And when you're ready, you leap in with all your heart and enthusiasm and stand back world. You're really ready. And it just was a joy to be her first grade teacher and to watch this incredible woman grow up into a magnificent person. I saw her at the beginning of her learning path, and she's on a very steep curve, continuing to grow. I know that Maria put, especially hearing Jim's story about their careful courtship, that Maria gave that same careful consideration of who might be her partner for life. And I know she chose carefully, and I know that Jimmy chose well. I hope you have a life full of love and that joyful energy. Love you.
When your first grade teacher says you turned out all right, you turned out all right. However, that's only the teacher's point of view. There were people also in Maria's class, and at Peninsula, you tend to be there a long time with a very small group, and you get to know each other terribly well. And one of Maria's friends then and now, who is here, is Ensley, who is going to say something now. Ensley, where are you? There you are.
I'll try to speak loudly and I'll probably just throw it all out there. So it's coming from the heart. Maria, thank you so much, Jimmy, both of you, for having all of us here. I see so many familiar faces, so right there, along getting this all together, thank you for that. It's true, we went to school together at Peninsula from kindergarten till 8th grade. Great friends then, still great friends, even though we don't get to see each other very often. But I thought we all have a lot of memories and stories in Maria, and I have one that I thought was nice to share. It's really, I used to think of it as memory, and now I realize it's really a story. And it kind of shows how Maria was even as a young kid, and her character and how she is now. And as we know, Maria is a vegetarian. Well, she was also back then. I didn't quite get what vegetarian was. All I knew is she liked vegetables, okay? And she really didn't eat a lot of meat, and okay, whatever. Well, she'd come over to play one day, as she often did, and we worked up our appetite, swimming, playing, and running around doing the work. And sure enough, we were starving, and Dad was ready to make some dinner, so we whipped up one of our favorites, which was spaghetti. And now, see, I didn't think we'd done it again, and Maria may have said something. But maybe that was it, and I thought it was really good, and everything I like, I want to real cute, and just perfectly like a chorus line for these little itty bitty pieces of meat. What I realized is that Maria graciously accepted this meal, and she appreciated that my father made her a meal, and that she was getting something to eat. And even though it wasn't what she wanted, she was able to modify it and all the people around it, and save the world and all that good stuff. And I just, I don't know you very well yet, Jimmy, but what I do know about you is that you embraced me with a big loving hug the first time getting to meet you, and that the way you look at Maria is the stuff that fairy tales are made out of. And Maria, the way I see you with Jimmy, when you're holding hands and you're looking at each other, is the real Maria that I remember from a little girl that is happier than I've ever seen. Just completed, you are completed. And so with that, you're a great friend still, and I love you to pieces. I'm excited to get to know you, Jimmy, and I wish you both all the love and happiness from here until eternity.
You read the teleprompter. So, first of all, it's such a deep pleasure to be here because somebody asked me, well, how do I know the Fadman? And actually, I met Dorothy in 1954 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She was the sorority sister in high school to my sister. But suffice it to say, I won't embarrass you, I have known you since diapers. Maria was the flower girl at our wedding, Judy and my wedding, some 32 years ago. Wouldn't you know it? Preacher Jim married us. And what I can reassure both of you is it works. You just have to follow the advice that was in that speech and ceremony. If you follow that advice, you will have long-lasting happiness and enjoyment. I do want to say quite a few graves behind where she was thought to have been. But nobody traumatized her. Nobody made her hate Matt. Everyone there respected. We have met. What has impressed me is the same person shows up every time, but with many more dimensions. And your courage, I don't think you were ready some years ago to face astrophysics. You're ready now. And that notion that throughout life and grow and change with that, to have two people together who share that is an amazing powerhouse. So my toast is to readiness, a couple who embodies readiness and will continue to be ready to grow throughout their marriage.
Another piece of advice which comes from the core of the family, and you've all seen her today, and you actually applauded her.
I thought maybe she was going to do that. I guess maybe. Well, I actually wrote my note. So I'm Renee, and I'm Maria's sister. You know, many of you have known Maria as long as I have, actually, in this crowd. But I think if you know her at all, you'll agree with me that Maria is energy. She's always moving, and she's always glowing. She's like a firefly. She generates her own light and then spreads that light around the world. She also traverses the planet, expanding others' awareness of this world we inhabit together and the importance of keeping it happy. She enlivens her students' worlds by opening their eyes, ears, and even taste buds to wonders they have not yet experienced, whetting their appetite for more. More understanding, more connection, more being part of the huge, exciting world that's out there. And Maria, who knows that big world so well, with all that traversing, needs a home to come to, a nurturing space to recharge, refresh, and renew. And in Jimmy, she has found that home. His stable strength provides a landing pad, a nesting ground, a home for Maria to stop, breathe, and be nourished. Jimmy's patience, wisdom, his sense of fun, and good humor make his partnership with Maria one that brings health and joy to both of them. Maria and Jimmy, like the complementary opposites of yin and yang, balance each other's differences quite well. And from that place of balance, illuminate each other's strengths. And as for that flitting firefly Maria, she's always been bright, but in the past, that light has flickered, moving from brilliance to darkness in rapid succession. And those of you who've known her left eye know what I mean. And with Jimmy, her glow has become stronger and more stable. Deep connection and powerful love can have that effect. Maria and Jimmy, as you journey on together, may you always support each other's strengths, illuminate each other with your light, and laugh with each other every day along the way.
Interrupted the service, as you know, when the fire engine on the pew came by. And in our family, we are comfortable with unusual events. Some very large, some very small. And in putting together a wedding, as some of you know, there are enough details that you really want to stay married a very long time. And this morning, as we were bringing a few things over, the one thing that we lacked was a little kind of tiny pin with a large head that you use for like a boutonniere. And so we came here early and we did a rehearsal, blah, blah, blah. And then Dorothy walked out for a moment and she came back and she said, look what I found on the ground. A little pin with a head on it. So we really think this is a blessed place. And the other thing about our family is there's a certain amount of psychic ability. It used to be really terribly difficult to give particularly Renee a Christmas present without her saying, telling us what was in it. And I think she probably still always knew, but she figured out that it's really hard for us to. So she stood up and said, oh, wait, I thought Mom was going to, and I thought, no, Renee, no, we know that. But Dorothy actually is going to give a toast.
Some of you know better than others that Maria was actually not that easy to raise. She had a very rich, complicated inner life, and sometimes she went very quiet and processed things, and sometimes she exploded in a kind of feminine tantrum. But in any case, when she was very little, I just tried to ride the waves. And she turned into this incredible woman who chose Jimmy and her together. But I want to say a few words about raising Maria. And how many people in this room helped to raise her in so many different ways. And those of you who were our friends and didn't know her that well, what you gave Maria was a nurtured mother and father who didn't have to hit on their kids to make their life meaningful. There's so many of you who've helped me make the movies, who helped Jim be in those groups where everyone bonded with each other, who pitched in with the Resources Work Exchange. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So as my toast, I just want to tell you, I've heard it said when you marry, you actually marry the family. In this case, Jimmy.
We're figuring it out. Hang on.
Please stand by.
Would anyone else care to give a toast? Okay. Would anyone care to give a silent toast? Here, here. Cheers. So here ends the formal part of the program. We are incredibly glad that you all could come, that the day cooperated so beautifully with us, that many of you came from far distances. We're especially grateful. And I think Dorothy said very well that you all have supported us as individuals, as family, as couples, and that support we are now pouring into this couple, where they will store it in large vats because they are pretty self-supporting, but they can draw on the accumulated wisdom and upsets and corrections and exceptions and genuine miracles that most of your lives are as needed. We're incredibly grateful that each and every one of you are both with us in that generic term and with us. Thank you so much for coming.
reasons why is because Dawn, our wedding planner, made sure that everything went smoothly. And Marcos, our neighbor. And if anybody is, someone who isn't here would like to come, feel free to take some. State Republican.
We didn't get mine.
It's a good thing it wasn't a pouring rain. Yeah, the school's pretty far. My nephew lives there, was going to house. I expect you to.
Richard? Mommy's World.